Welcome to DataBiome channel. Today we are going to understand about how can we use MCP server in LM Studio. Let's see today's agenda. First of all, we understand about client server architecture. Then we will quickly see what is MCP or Model Context Protocol, host client server. And then we will see the configuration part, how we can configure remote MCP server in LM Studio. And at the end, we will also see how can we configure local MCP server in LM Studio. When I see local, I mean you can access files and folders on your personal laptop. Feel free to skip to the configuration part in case you are already familiar with client-server architecture and Model Context Protocol. At the end of this video, you will be able to use MCP servers like this in your LM Studio tool, both for remote MCP server and also for the local MCP server. And then you can chat with the any open source LLM that supports tool capability. All right. Now let's first understand a bit about client-server architecture. So client-server architecture, it has a simple architecture. There is a client that can be a web browser, mobile application or desktop application, and then there is a server which basically store the data which client is interested, and they can be web server, application server, or database server. So whenever clients want to get some data, client sends a request to the server, and then server processes the request and sends a response. It's quite simple. And it all happen over the internet. Now let's first understand a bit about Model Context Protocol. So Model Context Protocol or MCP is an open source standard for connecting AI applications to external system. So when we say external system, it can be a database, it can be tools like Teams, Gmail, Google Drive, and there's so many tools. Why we need MCP protocol? Because without MCP protocol, you need to connect with each of these and it become quite complicated because in any organization, the architecture is not simple. There are multiple tools or services they use. Now think of MCP like a USB-C port for AI applications. Just like USB-C provides a standardized way to connect electronic devices, MCP also provide a standardized way to connect AI applications to external systems. So when I say AI application, it can be even any agent. This image clearly depicts what is the role of MCP protocol. So on left side, there is AI application. Now that can be any chat interface like Claude desktop. It can be even code editor like Claude Code, VS Code, Cursor, or it can be even other AI application like Super Interface. So these AI application interact with the different types of sources and tools. Like it can be a relational database like PostgreSQL, or it can be a file system like Google Drive. It can be even a development tools like Git, Sentry, or it can be even productivity tools like Slack, Google Maps. And the flow of data is always bidirectional. So it can flow in either direction with the help of this MCP protocol. And MCP protocol is given by the Anthropic team, but it has become a standard across industries and everyone use MCP protocol. Now what it's enable? With the help of MCP, agents can access your Google Calendar and Notion, acting as a more personalized AI assistant. Claude Code can generate an entire web page, entire web app using a Figma design, and chatbots can interact with multiple databases in your organization. Let's see quickly what is the architecture. So in the MCP, there are three participants: host, client, and server. So when we say host, it means the AI application that coordinates and manages one or more multiple MCP clients. An MCP client is nothing but a component within that application that will maintain a connection, a dedicated connection with a MCP server. An MCP server is a program that provides the context to the MCP clients. There are two types of MCP server. The first is the local MCP server, and then we have something like a remote MCP server. So when we say local, it's running locally, and when we say remote, it runs remotely or over internet. So it can be in any website, or it can be tool like Jira, which expose their data with the help of MCP protocol as MCP server. So when you are trying to access, suppose your local file system, then we are going to use a file system server MCP that is local. And in case you want to use anything outside your local, then we are going to use a remote MCP server. Whenever we use local, we use STDIO transport, and whenever we use remote, it's streamable HTTP transport. This is also commonly referred as remote MCP server, as I keep on using this terminology. And this diagram clearly depicts this. So there is a local file system, MCP server, then there's a local database running on your system, and then it can be even a remote protocol. So everything is supported. And when we go to the server part, MCP server part, we have basically three building blocks. One is tools, resources, and prompts. Tools, just think of it like actions. So what actions an LLM can take, whether it can read, write, delete. So all those functionality will comes under tools. And we are going to use MCP tools in LLM today to interact with MCP server. And it can be a write operation, a call external APIs, modify files, or trigger any kind of logic. And few examples like search, write, send messages, create calendar events. Resources is nothing but kind of static data that provide more context. It can be a branding guidelines, it can be a document, a schema document, API documentation. And prompts are nothing but pre-built instruction templates that tell the model how to work with these specific tools and resources. Example can be plan a vacation, summarize something, and draft an email. Enough of theory parts. Let's now see how can we configure MCP server in LM Studio. So let's go to LM Studio tool. Okay, this is my LM Studio. So you need to first go to the chats options, and then there are two options here. So this is model parameters and another is integrations. So under the integration, you need to click on install, and then you will get the option to edit the mcp.json. And this is the configuration file we are going to use to access both local MCP server and remote MCP server. Let's understand the first a bit about Hugging Face. So Hugging Face is an amazing platform where you can experiment with any open source models. So in case you have an old laptop and you won't be able to run any open source LLM model locally on your laptop, then you can learn on Hugging Face platform. Now there is a free tier that is something you can use. You just need to sign up for that. And in case you want to choose any paid ones, then you will get more privileges and tokens to use. Hugging Face expose a MCP server. I will paste all of these links, don't worry. In the description, you will find them. And what you can do with this MCP server, you can search models, you can find a space, you can ask for data sets about weather time series, and you can also generate image of a cat Ghibli style like this. Or let's see what are the tools this MCP server expose. So when I mentioned before about the MCP server, the three building blocks. One is tool resources and third is prompts. So this is the tools which you will see generally most of the cases. So tools is nothing but the actions that MCP server allow or the LLM can take these actions. It can do these activities. First is species semantic search, second is paper semantic search, then model search, dataset search, hub repo details, and documentation semantic search, and run and manage jobs as well. We're going to use Hugging Face MCP server because that's the one the LM Studio has shown in the example, and it's also totally free. We're going to use another MCP server called Motherduck, but for that you need to either have an account or you can have a trial version as well. The trial is valid for 7 days. But process remains same for all MCP server, so you can play around any MCP server. And the third one will be a local MCP server, a file system one, which we are going to access our files locally. At the end of this video, you will be able to use MCP server like this in your chat, and you will understand everything important, both local and remote. So this is for MCP server, this is for Doug, this is for local MCP server, which I was talking. And let's start now. So we are going to remove everything, whatever we have configured before. I was experimenting initially, so the setup is already there, but let's understand everything from the beginning. So click on install. So you need to go to chat first. Icon you will see, click on that. Click on install, edit MCP JSON, and then you will see this message. The running MCP servers can be dangerous. So you should be careful whatever you are running. And I think it's true about anything which you're running locally on your system. And here there are 3 servers I have configured. I will remove everything. I will just keep this block. So you'll understand everything. And you will get something like this when you start initially. So I will click on save, then see what will happen. So everything removed. And this is the default MCP.json which you will get. Going to first add this config file, remote server, that is Hugging Face one. So I have 2 options. I can go to this page of LM Studio. How? It's simple. Go to docs and then click on use MCP server. Scroll down a bit. And this is the example they have shown for Hugging Face. So 2 options. You can copy using this and paste there, or you can also click on this. Let's use the shortcut. So it will open your LM Studio and add this. Of course, there is no token, which we are going to create now. So click on add, and you can see everything here. So again, go to edit MCP JSON, and you can see it has been added. Whatever MCP server, suppose you want to add multiple MCP server, you are going to use a comma, and then you can add the next one. We will see that. Let's generate a token. Go to Hugging Face platform, and this is my account. You need to sign up for that. It's free. So click on that. Access tokens. It's asking for password. Confirm. And I have generated a lot of tokens. So let me just delete these because I don't need. So we can delete these tokens. We can even invalidate or refresh, up to us what you want to do. Okay, let me create a new token. I will say token MCP. And here 3 options. Token type is fine grained. So if you want to give fine grained access, you can choose whatever you like this. If you want to just access webhooks data, but if you want to give broader read permission, then you can use this option. And there is even a write option. So we will use the read option and create token. You need to copy this token. Remember, when you copy this token, it won't be visible once you close this window. So we'll copy, click on turn, and it has added this token MCP. Let's go to LM Studio application and let's replace it with the token. Don't try to use the same token. I'm going to delete this after this video. You can generate your own one, and sign up to Hugging Face is very simple. Let's click on save. Now, if in case you do any mistake, like let me show you. So if I remove this, it will show you at here. Okay. And in case everything is fine, there will be no errors. Click on save. As soon you click on save, the server will be added, and you will see this under this integrations part. Notice that there are three dots. So if I click on that, I can pin to chat input. I can force restart, and I can also uninstall. Uninstall means deletion. We have already seen. Now, as I enable this, let me first create a new folder. Empty folder. So I will just say it's MCP LLM. Click on this, and let's create a new chat now. And we start with Gemma model. So Gemma. So this is my chat. First thing you need to ensure is whatever open source LLM model you are using, that should support the tool capability. So this icon. If it won't support tool capability, then you won't be able to use this feature. So always ensure that. Second thing important is whenever you load any model, always ensure the context length or the context window is not huge. Let me show you the reason why I'm saying. So this is just 7 GB. I have 24 GB RAM, so it's fine. But let me show you what will happen if I. So the context length, it's huge, and for this much context length or window, I need 45 GB RAM, which is not possible. So try to have a lesser context limit. You can increase to a certain extent depending on the RAM you have, but I suppose to use something around 10,000 something, so that it will not put a stress on your system. And it's needed 8.86 GB, so I think that's fine. Then there is a GPU offload possible, so I will just reduce it and click on load model. You can decide these settings based on your system, but lesser limits are anyway fine. Click on load model. The model is being loaded, and the model has been loaded. Now we can ask this MCP server anything. So let's enable this. You can also, you see tool list. So tools are nothing but actions. We have already seen the list, but these are the actual tools that are enabled. And when you hover over each one of them, you will see the details. And the same data LLM model will use to understand about each tool. If you talk about any frontier models, they can handle a huge context window. So for them, it's not a problem. But since we are running everything locally, just notice that it's a 10,000. When you click on that, it will change to percentage. So you can also, okay, I will be able to do once I start the chat. And we have a setting, so you can allow all the tools. Then it will not ask for your permissions to run whenever it identified needs to invoke any tool. You can do these settings at even a tool level. So suppose you want to allow certain tools that don't ask for my permissions, then you can choose the always allow option. We will see this. Let's ask, give me top 3 LLM models on the basis of downloads counts on Hugging Face. You will see it will identify that this is a Hugging Face related query, and it can access this server because it's enabled. You can also enable disable using clicking here, and it will soon generate. So it's thinking. Now the thinking will be different. So when you choose another model, suppose I will choose Mistral, then it will be different because that's all depends how the model is being trained and also the analytical power of that particular model. So it's doing a hub repo search, limit is 10, and it's passing the model and sorting by downloads. Click on proceed. You can choose these options. You can choose options here and also you can choose here. It's up to you. But I won't recommend them because you should have control. Human in the loop principle. Okay, so it's got the result. Now it's processing the prompt. So it's now giving the output. Metalama series, Mistral, Queen series. And it's also listing the key strengths. Okay, fine. So let's see, create a Ghibli image of cat. Now it will use another tool, image turbo generate. And LLM is intelligent enough to understand the context of your prompt, and then it will check the necessary tools in case it has access. Now it again thinking, and it has identified that it has access to this tool. The user wants an image generation. I have a tool available for this purpose. So model is thinking, generating arguments, and this time give me this permissions so that it will not ask, but we are not going to do anything further, so it's fine. Click on proceed. The model is calling now, and you can see the result. So it has provided a path. Now this path will be on Hugging Face server, so you won't be able to see it here, but it has generated that path. And always remember, no matter they are open source model, frontier models, they are non-deterministic. So whenever you give any prompt, there is no guarantee it will do in a certain way. It will do it on the basis or the data is trained, but there can be differences. Now suppose I start another chat, then things might go in a different way. But there are ways to make it a little bit deterministic. We will see in future videos how to do that. Okay, so we got an image. Click on external image, open browser, and you can see it has generated a nice image. Great. So we have seen how can we use this. Now let's configure another MCP server. The reason I want to show you how you can configure multiple MCP server, not just single MCP server. And that is something no one will show you on YouTube. So if you want such content, please like and subscribe the channel. That will help us in keeping us motivated. Let's configure another server, Motherduck, another great data warehousing solution, and from DuckTV creators. And I love DuckTV. I have already created multiple videos on DuckTV. Feel free to check them. How to configure? It's quite simple. So they expose AMCP server. This is the page. I will paste all of these links in description. Just copy this because it's others. In case it's Claude or ChatGPT occurs on Claude Code, it's quite simple. But in case a tool like LM Studio, so you need to use the generic. Authentication can be a token based, be a token, or it can be even OAuth and also using the API keys. So the recommendation is to use OAuth, but it's also possible to use token-based authentication and other options. And they also have a local MCP server. So in case you are running a TV, you can. I've already created video on that. So I've copied. Let's go to LM Studio. Again, click on install, added mcp.json, and it will show you a warning again, not a problem. Be careful whenever you're installing. We can trust Motherduck anyway. So click on comma, and then you can just copy paste. But if you just copy paste, notice there is an MCP server already there. So we should not use that. We just need to copy the part where it's like this. So we only need this part because the other section already present. Control C, Control V. So there's a type, but we again need some way of authentication. If you don't give anything, then it will try to authenticate using OAuth. Let me show you how it will. So click on save. We are not giving token here, but you can also generate token. How? And how? Let's go to Motherduck. Let me show you the option. Click on standard, and we can generate access tokens here. So that is possible. I have already generated a few of them. Just need to click on create token and choose whether you want read or read-write access like this. Read-write access or read access. But let me show you even the other options. So we are going to just leave this thing as it is. Notice that when I'm clicking on save, it has removed the type because it's not supported. Maybe it has removed the type HTTP. And both of them are remote servers because they're running either on like first one is running on Hugging Face server and the second one is running on Motherduck server. So not running locally. Fine. We have click on save and we can see another MCP server added in the list. Just minimize this so that we can see. And when you click on enable, it will try to authenticate. So click trust and open in browser and you will give the permission. So it's asking permission. I will accept. Great. Now it's working. And it will show you a tool list, and this list is huge. You can query, you can read write query, you can list tables, columns, and you can do so many things. Again, you have permissions. If you want to give permission, allow all. So I will just remove this, and I can also configure on tool level. So if I change this to always allow tools, it will not ask for my permission in the chat. Otherwise, it will keep on prompting me to allow certain tools. Okay, so let's go to chat again, Gemma, and this time let's create a new chat. I don't want to fill the context window for that. Oops, let delete. We don't need, and this time we will rename and say it's a Motherduck. Click on this and it's fine. So we have now Motherduck. Now let's ask list all tables in sample database. So we have a sample data database. We can see MyDB and sample data. This is the database we have. So I can ask show me all tables in sample data database. Let's see how it will do. You need to enable it. Let me just disable the Hugging Face. We don't need. And again, you can enable disable here. So it's enabled. It will be able to identify that it want to list all the tables in sample data database. And it will invoke the tools. Let's see again the tool list, which tool it will going to invoke. Now it depends on model how it want to approach the prompt. So user want to list all tables in sample data database. I should use the list tables. So it's using the list tables, this one, and you can hover over it, understand list or table and views. Click on proceed. And let me give now permissions because I want to show you that it's possible. I won't recommend, but it's possible. So always allow all tools. We have turned it on, and now it will not ask you anything. It has listed all the tables. So these are the tables we have, and it has done a good job. Let's create a new table, create a new database. So create a new database employee, and also create employee DB. Let's say employee DB, and create a new table called UK employee. We are not giving any column list, so it will choose it itself. So now it's thinking, and it start using query read write tool now. So there is some guardrails rules. Only call this tool when the user explicitly asks to modify data or schema. Always ask the user for confirmation before calling this tool. Prefer the read-only query tool when the user's goal can be answered with the existing data. Great. So we need to have guardrails, and it's now creating a database and a table. So new database, employee DB, and create table, but it needs columns. So I will need to perform two steps since haven't has specified what columns or data types would be in your domain. Could you let me know what field you like to include? Okay, once the body type, we can confirm the exact SQL. Choose uh, generic field. So ideally, I should provide a column list, but let's see what will happen. I'm saying choose generic fields. Clear the new, I need to ask. Okay, it's now choosing this. Integer, where hire date, salary, department, job title. And now it's constructing a plan, how you can do. I can just tell you what I can do and ask to confirm. So it's asking every time because there's a guardrail being placed. So it's again asking. So it's a create a table and create a database, propose SQL. Yes. And this is all happening because you see here the rules. So it's important to put the right guardrails so you can protect your system. Because MCP tools can be powerful, but if it's misused, then things can be really bad. Now it's generating tool request. We have already given allow all, so it will not ask for confirmation now. And it's processing. I've successfully created the employee DB table and the columns. Let's see. Hold, add date and salary. Let's go to Motherduck and see the employee DB. Okay, so we have employee DB, main schema, and UK employee table with all the columns. Great. So we have seen how can we use different types of report MCP server. Let's now use another server, but this time it's a local. So we will go to install, edit MCP, and we are going to use another one, this time local. So I have just copied the syntax. I will paste this, don't worry. And here it's a file system server. Let me also add local. And this is the path I'm providing. So And this is a part of arguments. So we can provide arguments to the MCP server. And let's click on save. Let me minimize so that we can see. Click on save. Notice the path. Okay. This is my path on. This is the local path. So there are some files under the files folder. So let me, actually it's not a good name to name some folder like files, but anyway, let's see what will happen. So click on save, add it. Let me turn it on and see what all the tools it exposes. And it exposes a lot of tools. It can read the text file. It can read the media files, multiple file, write file, edit file. It can do a lot of things, search files, move files. So let's now create a new chat. We don't want to continue in the same one. So we'll say local MCP. Let us question list all files on the files folder, but mention is absolute. There's a typo, but it's intelligent enough to understand. So it will use tool now. Let's see which tool it will use, because we are listing the files. Okay. Proceed. So listing the, you can see the result, by the way. When you click here, you can see the result. Allow directories, user, Akash document files. Proceed it again using list directory this time. So list directory. Great. So it identified there are 3 files. Okay, let me say read the content and of olama.png. Let's skip this path as well so that in now model can process the PNG data, but let's see. So it says a read media file. If you hover over it, return the base 64 encoded data, and okay, fine. So let's click on proceed. Okay, so we are able to read it. Great. Let's see whether we have right permission or not. So create a new file under with name employee.txt. Let's see. Now it's using write file. Proceed. We can see the output. Click on this arrow. Result is successfully wrote. So I have created a new file employee.txt. Okay, let me show you. And you can clearly see there's a olama.png. This is the file that it was able to read, and then there's employee.txt, but it's of course it's empty. Great. So it has done a decent job. Now you sometimes might see some hallucination if the prompt is not clear. So play around it and try to understand. You can always uninstall clicking on three dots and use this option. Sometime it won't work. So you can always go to install, edit MCP, and then you can remove that part whichever you don't need. Hope you have learned something new today. And if you like the content, please like and subscribe the channel.